The patrol car slowed in front of Darius Carter's home, headlights washing over his gate. Before he even stepped outside, he saw it, a paper flapping in the night breeze. Another notice, another warning, but this one was different. Its words weren't just rules, they were threats. Darius tore the notice from the iron bars, jaw tightening as he read. Remove unauthorized gate. Final warning. Behind him, his best friend Marcus leaned against the porch rail, chewing gum loudly, trying to lighten the mood. Man, it's just a piece of paper, Marcus joked. You gonna frame it? But Darius didn't laugh. He knew what Marcus didn't. This wasn't about gates or fences. It was about respect. And respect was something the HOA patrol had been stealing from him for weeks. He looked back at the gate, the metal glinting under the streetlight. He didn't know it yet, but that piece of paper would lead to sparks flying, a patrol humiliated, and an entire neighborhood choosing sides, because tonight the war for his home had begun. Darius folded the notice carefully, the paper creasing beneath his fingers. Marcus tilted his head. You gonna let that ruin your night? Darius's eyes stayed on the gate. It's not about the paper. It's about the message. They want me to bow, Marcus snorted. Man, you bow? I'd pay money to see that. But Darius didn't smile. His silence said more than any words could. This wasn't the first time. In the past month, the HOA patrol had circled his home again and again. Sometimes they left warnings. Sometimes they just rattled the gate at midnight. Other times, they sat in their patrol car across the street, chewing gum and smirking, daring him to react. Each night, the message was the same. We control this neighborhood, not you. And each night, Darius's resolve grew stronger. He thought of his father, who'd built fences not just to mark boundaries, but to teach respect. A fence, his father once said, isn't just wood or iron. It's a line that says, this is mine. Cross it and you answer me. Darius whispered to himself, and I'll honor that line. Marcus popped his gum, oblivious to the storm brewing. Man, you're taking this too seriously. But Darius's hand tightened on the notice. He slipped it into his pocket like a challenge accepted. The night air felt heavier, charged. The war had started. But what began with a crumpled notice on his door was only the HOA's opening move. The patrol was already circling, and soon, their games would turn darker. The week after the fence incident, Crestwood Estates changed. The HOA patrol car became a shadow, creeping by Darius's home at dawn, mid-afternoon, even near midnight. Headlights slowed, engines idled, notes scribbled. It wasn't about rules anymore. It was about breaking him down. By Monday, the first violation appeared, improper curtain material, curtains. Inside his own home, by Wednesday, a second slip. Decorative plants too wild. 12-inch marigolds are suddenly disruptive. Friday morning brought another that made Marcus nearly choke when he read it aloud. Flagpole angle exceeds tolerance by 2 degrees. He barked a laugh. They're measuring shadows now, D. What's next, your grass breathing too loud? Darius didn't laugh, but the worst came that evening. An official letter in the mail. Final warning. Multiple violations unresolved. Failure to comply may result in daily fines or property seizure review. Property seizure. His home wasn't just under fire, it was on the line. Saturday afternoon, Darius glanced out and froze. The gum-chewing patrolman leaned against his fence, mirrored shades flashing. Another patrol member zoomed a phone camera into his yard. Darius stormed out. Off my grass! The gum chewer smirked, bubble popping between his teeth. Sidewalks public. HOA business! His partner laughed, muttering, He's about to lose it. Darius's fists curled. The rake in his hand nearly snapped, but he stayed silent. That night, the two men sat on the porch, silence heavy. Marcus slapped the seizure letter against his palm. They're not nitpicking, D. They're smoking you out, like termites eating from the inside. His eyes burned. Man, if they pulled this at my house, I'd climb their fence and teach them real fast what a violation feels like. Darius stared at the iron gate. They want me to snap. That's their game. The next morning, Mrs. Alvarez whispered, They're calling you bad for the neighborhood image. Her husband yanked her arm. Don't get involved. Across the street, another neighbor spotted Darius and instantly turned away, pretending to check their phone. He wasn't just being harassed. He was being isolated. That night, a metallic shriek rattled him awake. Darius grabbed his flashlight and burst onto the porch. The patrol car idled at the curb. Two silhouettes rattled his gate, iron squealing. A dog barked down the block. Cold night air stung his lungs. "Hey!" Darius roared, flashlight beam cutting through the dark. The gum chewer raised his phone and sneered. Violation. Improper lock mechanism. Darius stepped off the porch, pulse hammering, flashlight trembling in his hand. For a heartbeat. He almost charged, then he froze, veins tight, jaw locked. The patrol smirked, climbed into the car, and vanished into the night. By week's end, his mailbox overflowed with paper, his gate was scarred, and his patience was gone. Sunday afternoon, the gum chewer leaned on the fence again. "Better repaint those shutters, Carter. HOA might decide this house doesn't belong here." Darius didn't shout, didn't move, just stared until the man twitched under the silence and left. Inside, Marcus saw his eyes and went cold. "You're not just going to take this, are you?" Darius's voice was calm. "No, I'm done talking. They want to play with fences? Then I'll remind them what a fence really is." That night in the garage, wires, tools, and an old army battery spread across his workbench. Darius slipped on gloves, muttering his father's words. A fence is a line of respect. They had crossed it too many times. This time, the line would bite back, and Marcus was right. Because the patrolmen weren't done with threats, they were ready to cross the line, and the night would bring their boldest trespass yet. The garage smelled of oil and old wood, light buzzing overhead. Darius stood at his workbench, sleeves rolled up, wires and tools spread like a soldier's kit. He lifted the army battery, its weight solid in his hand. His father's voice echoed, "A fence is a line of respect. Cross it and you answer for it." This wasn't revenge. This was about restoring that line. The door creaked. Marcus stepped in, froze at the sight of wires, gloves, and clamps. "D, tell me you're not doing what I think you're doing." "They test the gate every night," Darius said calmly. "This time they'll remember." Marcus blinked, half horrified, half impressed. "You're insane!" "No," Darius replied. "I'm prepared." As he tightened a clamp, a memory cut in. His father wiring a farm fence, sparks snapping in the air. His father's voice, "Never play with power. Respect it, control it, or it controls you," Darius whispered. "Respect goes both ways." Midnight. The garage door opened, yellow light spilling onto the driveway. Marcus hovered nervously as Darius clipped the battery into place. "Don't touch it," Darius warned. Marcus smirked. "Man, that fence just graduated from decoration to weapon. Can't wait to see that gum fly when the jolt hits." Darius flipped a switch. Snap! A spark cracked across the gate. The iron hummed faintly like a predator waiting. Marcus whistled. "Okay." "That'll do it." By day it looked ordinary. Clamps painted black, a tarp hiding the battery. Marcus paced. "You shock one of them and they'll scream lawsuit. Maybe even cops." Darius didn't flinch. "It won't kill anyone. Just a jolt. Enough to remind them this line isn't theirs. And if they push harder," Marcus pressed. Darius's eyes stayed on the gate. "Then I'll deal with police, lawyers, whatever comes. But I won't let them take my home." 2 nights passed. The patrol car rolled by, lights dim. Notices still appeared. Mailbox paint chipped, porch sweeping improper. On the second night, the gum chewer walked to the gate, hand hovering an inch from the iron. Darius held his breath, but the man smirked, pulled back, muttered into his phone. A fake-out. Darius's fists clenched. The tension coiled tighter. Finally, Darius made a move. He left the gate slightly ajar, as if the lock had slipped. Marcus's eyes went wide. "You're setting a trap." "No," Darius said quietly. "I'm setting a lesson. What he built wasn't just a gate. It was a line in the sand. And when the patrol came back, the shock waiting for them would change everything." low. "You sure about this?" Darius nodded. "Respect doesn't return on its own. Sometimes you have to demand it." Headlights crawled down the street, slicing across lawns. The HOA patrol car slowed, then stopped. The gum chewer climbed out, chomping as always, clipboard tucked under his arm, phone in hand. Another patrolman followed, camera ready. They spotted the gate ajar. The gum chewer smirked. "Well, well, wide open. Maybe I'll just take this gate off its hinges myself." He grabbed the iron bar. From the porch, Marcus muttered, "They're really gonna bite." Darius stayed still, jaw tight. The gum chewer wrapped his hand around the latch. Crack! A blue-white spark leapt across the gate. "Yeah!" he screamed, gum shooting from his mouth as his knees buckled. He stumbled sideways, slamming into his partner, who yelped and dropped his phone. Clipboard clattered onto the pavement. The gum chewer staggered, clutching his hand, eyes wild. "You see that?" he shrieked. "It shocked me." His partner scrambled back. "Man, let's just go." "No! We've got him now! This is illegal." From the porch, Darius's voice cut steady through the night. "No, I didn't booby-trap anything. I secured what's mine. Maybe stop grabbing property that doesn't belong to you." Marcus stepped forward, voice sharp. "You clowns break into people's yards at midnight, shake their gates, threaten their homes. Now you cry when the fence pushes back?" He held his glare, silence stretching. Then he added, low and cold, "You're lucky it was just a jolt." The gum chewer flinched. Porch lights flicked on up and down the street. Curtains rustled. Neighbors peeked out. Mrs. Alvarez whispered, "They've been harassing him for weeks." But another neighbor shouted, "He can't get away with this! Call the cops!" The gum chewer seized on it, yelling back to the crowd. "Exactly. He's a criminal. HOA'll bury him." Darius stood slowly under his porch light. "What's criminal is trespassing, harassment, threats. I drew a line. You crossed it. That's on you." The murmurs deepened, some nodding, others frowning. The community was split. The second patrolman tugged his partner's sleeve. "Come on." "Not like this." But Gum Chewer's pride burned hotter than his hand. "You think you scared me?" he barked, voice cracking. "This isn't over, Carter. HOA's gonna bury you." He staggered, nearly tripping, and climbed into the car. The patrol peeled away, tires squealing. The street fell into tense silence. Neighbors lingered, whispering, divided between admiration and fear. Marcus turned to Darius. "They're not done. You know that, right?" Darius's eyes stayed on the faint arcs crackling along the iron bars. "I know." He set the empty coffee mug down, voice steady. "And neither am I. But a single victory against the patrol didn't end the war. The HOA was wounded, embarrassed, and ready to strike back harder than ever." The street was quiet again, but it wasn't peace. From his porch, Darius could feel eyes still watching him through curtains. Some filled with respect, others with suspicion. The faint hum of the gate behind him felt like a heartbeat, steady and defiant. Marcus exhaled, long and heavy. "Well, you did it?" "No," Darius said quietly. "I started it." At dawn, a thick packet bulged in his mailbox, sealed in HOA letterhead. Notice of violation, unauthorized electrical modification. Immediate removal required. Pending legal review. Marcus flipped through the stack, whistling low. "This isn't a letter. It's a lawsuit dressed in paper." Darius folded it neatly. "Then they're scared. Good." By noon, Crestwood was buzzing. On one side, Mrs. Alvarez brought cookies, voice low. "People are saying you stood up for all of us. You're brave." But across the street, Mr. Turner wasn't whispering. Arms crossed, he shouted, "You're reckless, Carter! Gonna drag us all down!" And Marcus, leaning nearby, chuckled darkly. "Funny thing, rumor is Gum lost a tooth when he hit the ground. Burned his hand, too. Whole block's laughing about it." Turner flushed red, muttering under his breath as neighbors snickered. Humiliation spread faster than the HOA's notices. That evening, a dark SUV idled across the street. No patrol logos, no clipboard. Just tinted windows and an engine that never shut off. Every few minutes, the driver's window lowered a crack, a pale hand flicking ash into the night. Marcus growled. "They're watching, building their case." Darius didn't move from his porch chair. "Then let them see what respect looks like." fines. Took down the fence. Darius tightened a bolt with quiet precision. Most people don't know what it's like to have everything tested every day. Marcus nodded slowly. And you're the nail that won't bend. Well, I'm the hammer right behind you. The silence that followed carried the weight of a vow. That night, Mrs. Alvarez's husband crossed the street. His eyes darted nervously, but his voice was firm. My wife's right. They've been targeting you. It isn't fair. If they drag you into a meeting, we'll speak up. For the first time in weeks, Darius felt the air shift, a small crack in the wall of isolation. Later, alone by the iron fence, he ran his hand across the cool metal. His father's voice rang in his head. A fence is a line of respect. Keep it strong, and no one can take what's yours. Darius whispered, it's not just about me anymore. It's about showing them we don't bow. Days passed. More letters came, thicker, heavier, each threat louder than the last. But something else grew. Neighbors started nodding again. A wave here, a greeting there. The split wasn't healed, but the silence had broken. One evening, Marcus sat with him on the porch. The hum of cicadas filled the night air. You think they'll back off? Marcus asked. Darius shook his head. No, people like that never back off. They only test how far you'll bend. He set down his coffee mug, eyes fixed on the gate. But I don't bend. Across the street, a child waved shyly. Darius smiled back. Brief, human warmth. But headlights flared at the end of the block. The same SUV crawled past, window cracked,